hope you're there. It's spring, suddenly spring. It happened while we weren't looking. Well, I was surprised. Anyway, in the field next to the school, the cows have gone. Very shortly they'll be manuring the field and then they'll start ploughing. The year is going on. I hope you had a good Easter break. Easter happened, of course, just after you'd started your holiday. We celebrated in churches all over the world. Billions of people came together to celebrate Christ rising from the dead. And it's that I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to be talking by using paintings to show you some paintings that are 500 years old that tell the story of Christ's resurrection. And you've seen some of these already. You've already seen the picture of Jesus. You'll recognize him in all the pictures, I hope. But we're going to be looking in particular at one other person that you've seen in the paintings, a woman in a red dress. Mary Magdalene was one of Jesus' closest friends. Magdalene meant she came from a village called Magdala. She hadn't been one of his disciples, as you know they were all men, but she'd played her part in supporting him and making sure he was looked after. I've been showing you pictures, as I said, from about 500 years ago. You can see the painter shows her always in a red dress, just so you know which person is which. I suppose you'd call it colour coding. The other Mary, Jesus' mother, always wears something blue. So look, you can see Mary Magdalene there in a red dress when Jesus was being crucified. See her down there at the foot of the cross. Then when he's being taken down, see, there she is kissing his feet. And she was with the women who went to the tomb early on the first Easter day. They had very expensive perfumed ointment they were going to anoint his body with. And here's a picture of her with the bottle she carried to do that. But they weren't able to use their ointment. Jesus had already risen from the dead. So here Mary Magdalene is with the other women on the right in her red dress, meeting the angel, finding the tomb empty. That's Mary, Jesus' mother, behind her, wearing blue with her head covered. They were terrified, not only because it was an angel, of course, but because the body might have been stolen. They didn't know what had happened. There were Roman soldiers who might have blamed them, punished them because the body had gone. So I'm going to read you the story now from the Bible, from St. John's Gospel. Mary Magdalene stood outside Jesus' tomb, crying. As she wept, she bent down to look into the tomb. There she saw an angel, clothed in white, where Jesus' body had been lying. "Why are you crying?" the angel said. "They've taken away my Lord," Mary said, "and I don't know where they've put him." As she said this, she turned round, and she saw Jesus standing there, but she didn't recognize him. Jesus said to her, "Why are you crying? Who are you looking for?" She guessed he must be the gardener. "Sir," she said, "if you've taken him off somewhere, tell me where you've put him, and I'll arrange for him to be taken away." "Mary," said Jesus. She turned in amazement and said in her own language, "Rabboni," which in Aramaic means teacher. "Don't cling to me," said Jesus. "I haven't yet ascended to my Father. But go to my brothers and say to them, I'm going up to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went and told the disciples, "I've seen the Lord." And she told them the things he had said to her. So there you have the story of Mary Magdalene in the garden. She thought he was the gardener. An easy mistake to make, I suppose. She wasn't expecting to see Jesus there. In the painting, he's shown carrying a hoe, which is what gardener's carrying. I don't think he really was carrying a hoe. I think the painters put that in there to make it seem possible that she might have thought he was the gardener. But there you are. He says to her, Mary. She wasn't expecting him, but she recognized him as soon as he said her name. Aramaic was her language. Rabboni, she said. And he replied, don't cling to me. He's got to go away. He's not going to be there forever. He's going to ascend. Remember the next thing that happens after Easter, 40 days later, after he's spent 40 days with his friends, the next thing that happens is ascension. He goes up into heaven. I can show you a picture of the ascension. Mary Magdalene is not in the picture, but you can see there's a woman standing there in blue. You know, because she's wearing blue, that's Mary, Jesus' mother. So that's what's going to happen next, the ascension. And there's one picture I showed you right at the beginning, which I haven't shown you yet. Let's have a quick look at it. There's Jesus' feet. He's standing a bit strangely. The feet aren't side by side, and it's as if they're not quite on the ground. And what the painter is doing, he's trying to show us there that Christ is just beginning to leave this earth and go up into heaven. And so let's finish with a prayer. Father, Mary Magdalene and her friends were terrified when Jesus died. They thought he'd gone forever. Everything they'd hoped for was lost. But they met their friend again. All was well. They could happily step into the future with confidence. Help us to trust our friends and you. May we always be sure that we will be there for each other, forever and ever. Amen. So let's finish by saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you for your company. Thank you for listening. Hope the rest of your day, the rest of your week will go well.